to the, you going to the fundraiser on the 26th?
Oh yeah. Life goes on.
I did a table. Never mind.
That's picking up really good. Huh?
We're on.
It's gonna be.
If I'd known you weren't going, didn't know, I would have.
It's gonna be on the viral video of your plans.
I wasn't specific.
I feel like I'm on Real TV. How's my tea?
I did mine.
And I'll start talking sing-alongs.
I was ready. I'm bored ready for karaoke.
What's the issue?
It's an audio issue with the
Sit.
Good. Oh, the funness of it.
I mean, the captions are there. People can read.
All I know is I'm starting my Zoom at 7 to start class.
I know.
We're too tall. I was being sarcastic.
We're good?
Testing, testing.
good to go.
All right.
Tell me, just give me the, right now? Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the College of the Desert Trustee Candidate Forum. I want to say hello to everybody out there in the virtual world, and thank you to all of you that showed up in person. Before we get started with introducing the candidates and also our moderators, I want to first introduce myself. My name is Oceana Collins, and I am the president of College of the Desert Faculty Association. That's the association here at College of the Desert that represents our full-time faculty. I also teach history, which is my one true passion. And like I said, before we start introductions, I want to lay down some ground rules for the candidates. They've already heard these, but I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. First off, the candidates will be answering 10 questions with a 2-minute response time limit. And then there is potential follow-up questions by the moderators. That will be for a minute or so. I'm trying to limit it to a minute for the follow-up questions. The candidates know that there is no cross-talking amongst themselves, so they will be responding directly to the moderators. Ground rules for the audience. Please, no clapping during the actual form. You can go ahead and clap when I introduce the candidates, and you can clap at the end, but clapping during the forum will just delay the process and possibly lead to distractions. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start from left to right. So we have with us today Trustee Aurora Wilson, and she is representing Area 4 at College of the Desert currently, and she is the incumbent candidate. Next, we have Ruben Perez, and he is representing Area 1 for College of the Desert currently, and he is also the incumbent candidate. Next, we have Larissa Chavez Chaidez, and she is running for Area 1. And finally, we have Dr. Joel Kinnaman, who is running for Area 4. And now I'd like to introduce our moderators today. For CODAA, which is our Adjunct Faculty Union, we have Julie Resignio, who is an Adjunct Professor of Accounting. And we have representing CODFA, excuse me, I get those mixed up, CODFA, which is our full-time faculty union, Dr. Veronica Doubt, counselor and professor of sociology. All right, guys, take it away.
All right, thank you. Well, we'll be starting off with question number 1, and I'm going to start off with Aurora Wilson. Okay. In 2 minutes, please describe why you think you are qualified to serve as a member of the Board of Trustees for Desert Community College District.
Thank you for the question. I am currently the incumbent. I was appointed in 2013 out of 25 candidates. I was selected. I ran for the office in 2014 against 2 challengers, and I beat those 2 challengers, and in 2018 I went unchallenged, and here I am again. I am best qualified. I have the background. I've been in the office. I have led the Board of Trustees. We work as a team. It's been an honor to serve. We've been in the trenches, I feel, with all of you, particularly during the last couple of years. Personally, single mom, went to a community college, and went to school at night, taking my daughter with me. So I understand how it is to go to school and try and work during the day. I also work on, I volunteer on several nonprofit boards, some major ones here in the Coachella Valley. So I have a great understanding of what the needs are in the communities. And not just here in the college, because we know that the college are students, but students are families, and families are in need, so I'm really pleased to be able to have the expertise of serving on nonprofits. And we all know that it does take a village. And I also serve as board chair, and I have with nonprofits, so I have oversight on thousands of dollars in our budgets, and so I know how to budget and how to vote and how to spend money on different projects and different needs. And I served as the board chair during the time of when we were coming out of the pandemic, and we really had to work as a team. So I am ready to serve again to continue to move this college forward. I know it's been a struggle for all of us. We're not the only community college having the struggles, but we're here to work with you and to make student success our #1 priority. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question to Ruben Perez. In 2 minutes, please describe why you think you are qualified to serve as a member of the Board of Trustees for Desert Community College.
Sure. Well, good evening, everyone. I would like to open by acknowledging the death of Peggy Cravens. Ms. Cravens and her husband have been extremely generous to the college and even paid for this room that we're in now. So our condolences to the Cravens family, and their legacy will live on forever. Second, I would like to thank you, CODAA and CODFA, for allowing me the opportunity to come humbly before you to earn your endorsement. My name is Ruben Perez, and I am running for the re-election for the College of the Desert Board of Trustees to represent Area 1, which encompasses the communities of La Quinta, Indio, Coachella, Termal, Mecca, Oasis, North Shore, Desert Shores, and Son City. My grandparents came to this country as immigrants. They worked as field workers, trabajadores en el field, en la uva, y como palmeros. I am a second-generation college student, or college graduate with a degree in political science from the University of California, Davis. I also serve as a policy advisor for our local assembly member, where I see and deal with education policy that affects us here locally and statewide. 4 years ago, the community approached us and asked us to run for this seat. With their overwhelming support, we won and took out a longtime incumbent. The community was ready to see the college go in a different direction. Our campaign identified 3 goals. We wanted to improve the presence and relationship College of the Desert had with the Eastern Coachella Valley, be more equitable in the distribution of resources, and improve campus culture, thus changing the status quo. I am proud to say that we have accomplished this by offering transfer-level courses as well as academic services in Coachella. We have reopened our East Valley campus that was closed by the previous administration, and we hired an administrator who leads through example and not through intimidation. I'm also very proud of the fact that we have had record-level transfer and graduate rates every year while I've been on the board. I am running for election because I want to keep building on the progress we have made, especially over the last year. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question to Larissa. In 2 minutes, please describe why you think you are qualified to serve as a member of the Board of Trustees for Desert Community College District.
Good afternoon. I'm Larissa Chavez-Chides, and I'm running for the Desert Community College District Area 1. I am a daughter of immigrant parents that came to the United States looking for a better future for us. I graduated from La Quinta High School in 2016, and I'm currently working as a business manager for a local company in Palm Desert. And I'm also working in my bachelor's degree in communication studies at CSUSB. I became a first-generation college student at College of the Desert, achieving an associate's degree in communication studies. While at COD, I served as student trustee, representing all the students at the Board of Trustees meetings. As student trustee, I served in different committees throughout College of the Desert that produced significant changes in order to improve student success. I also provided the student perspective and both.
Always a roadrunner. And I spent nearly a decade here as a superintendent president, 30 years in community colleges. I've been a faculty member all the way through the administration to chancellor and superintendent president. I'm the chairman of the Board of Trustees for California Indian Nations College. So I have a breadth of experience to bring to the table. I've got a doctorate in education, and under my leadership at the community college, we were very successful in fulfilling the dreams of thousands of students and graduates from Coachella Valley. We offered all high school graduates free tuition, free transportation, all types of support services to eliminate barriers, became the fastest growing college in the state of California, received state, local, and national rewards. We were flying high, we were happy, our morale was better, we didn't have 18 unfilled faculty positions, and so I'm committed to us going back and focusing on our students and our mission. As someone that's chaired over 12 accreditation teams, I know what Standard 4 is, and it's about planning and governance. Trustees need to know their role. They need to read Standard 4. If they read Standard 4, they'll stay in policy, and they will stay out of operations. Once they enter operations, things go sideways quick. My commitment is to get out of operations and back into policy so that we can let people that have been trained to do their jobs and support our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you all for joining us. I'm going to start with Mr. Perez. The part-time or adjunct faculty make up the vast majority of the teaching faculty. How can you ensure fair and equitable pay, benefits, and representation on our campus? In other words, parity.
Sure. So this issue comes up quite a bit when we're talking, and thank you for the question. I think this comes down to budgeting, but we also want to ensure that those adjuncts that want to remain part-time have the support and benefits that they need, as well as those that want to become full-time have the pathway in order to do so. From my understanding, there's CODAA has a union on campus, and from my understanding, the relationship between the chief negotiators and the executive cabinet has been the best that it's ever been. So I think that we're making great headway, but I understand that there's more work that needs to be done, and I'm committed to doing so. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chavez-Chides.
I believe in equal pay for equal work. As a woman, I really understand the concept and have fought for that principle. But you have to ask the question, why are adjuncts paid less? And the answer is that there's limited resources provided by the state, and we have to look for the best way to solve this inequality. It is for our state legislators to allocate more funding, not only for COD, but for all adjuncts across the state. It can't be a piecemeal approach. It has to be a coordinated effort. Adjuncts deserve it, and I am all about working with them and get more funding to pay for their incredible work. Thank you.
Dr. Kinnaman?
Thank you very much for the question. Parity has been around for some time, us discussing how to define it, and we've had different teams at the table over the years. And as I look at it now, I think that we need to look at Sacramento. When we're having such flush pockets and we have parity funds that they never fully fund, and we need to do that collectively. So I would say trustees across the state of California need to come together around this issue, and CEOs, and take a position and take a lobby. We've been trying to do it at individual tables across the state of California, and that really is a scattered approach, and this could be a high priority for the trustees across the state and their association, and for CEOs across the state and their associations to lobby for parity pay for adjuncts. And we really know how important it is in Coachella Valley. It's so challenging, and we currently are having difficulty getting enough classes offered, and we rely heavily on the adjuncts. I've started my first teaching job as an adjunct, and I understand some of those challenges, and that even as a part-time person, you don't get some of the support services that just come along naturally if you're a full-time faculty. And those are hard to articulate, but when you're experiencing them, when I was experiencing them, we were still using the overhead projectors, and when it didn't work and I went to the class, there usually wasn't somebody there to help me figure it out. And so, but back to the parity issue, it's something that's bigger, and it's something that it needs to be a state initiative. So, thank you.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes, thank you for the question. Some of the areas I was going to talk about have already been discussed. I mean, we talked about ensuring parity. This has been a rough year for the adjuncts. We get it. We get it. It's been a rough year for all of us. But, you know, we are very grateful for the work of the adjuncts and what they do. You know, for some, this is like additional work. You know, some of them have regular jobs, and then at night they come and they teach. It's something that we continue to work on, that we recognize. I have to tell you, Dr. Garcia has had an excellent relationship with the Chancellor's office, and so she is able to have the ear of the Chancellor's office and understand what's going on and what the issues are, and able to put in some input from College of the Desert and what we're wanting to do. Again, you know, I want to make sure that adjuncts understand that we're here for you. We understand. The other thing too I want to have you know is that the college president is really our only person that we have to rely on. Typically, we were not encouraged to come onto the campus, and so we would rely on what the college president, who is our only employee, rely on what he presents to us to be the facts, and that is what we have to go on. Well, the other thing we have to go on is your reports. When you give reports to the Board of Trustees, I listen, and that's what I have to go on, is what you have to say to me. So keep bringing those reports, and I have to say again, Dr. Garcia has been very open with you. I think we made the right choice in bringing her on board. She's made a lot of advances, a lot of progress with you all, and I think we just need to keep staying with her and staying the course and continuing to hear you, and thank you again for all that you do.
Thank you. We're going to move on to question number 3, and I'm going to start off with Mrs. Chaides. There has been a lot of bad press generated about College of the Desert in the past year. This has been incredibly demoralizing for COD faculty and staff. What are you going to do to turn this negative narrative around and send the message that the job that faculty and staff are doing is valued?
Right now, we see that transparency to the community has been slowly dying with this current board, and outright lying has been happening on the dais. I hope to regain the public trust and fulfill my promises. Faculty are part of foundation of college and play a major role in the success of the college. I hope to be a servant to the community and provide a flourished campus once more where faculty feel valued, because they are. And it's because of you that we are able to get an education.
Thank you. Same question, Dr. Kinman.
Oh, thank you very much. So when I arrived in 2012, we had a lot of headlines like the past 30 that we've had this year. And the way we tackled them is we were honest, we were transparent, we provided public records. I sat down with anybody that would interview with me and had questions, and we rebuilt the public trust. And, you know, we owed $8 million to the state during that time. And we had scandals, we had grand jury investigations, et cetera. The challenge I'm seeing is it's our job for you not to be impacted by those headlines and by those situations, because it does impact how you engage when you come to work. You know, even this Friday, there's a board presentation. I was looking through the document, and they've got a document in there that's not correct. So somebody's going to say something about it. And, you know, it's part of a presentation, but when the people that were involved in the process are all gone and you don't have anybody to go to, then it's hard to explain what that is. It's got to be about transparency. We need to do a forensics audit and see what's transpired and why we have so many headlines, and we don't need to do the blame game. You know, I'm hearing out there they're calling us College of Deceit, Disinformation, and Deception. So the board has lost its credibility, and it's hopefully not going to make an impact when we go through accreditation, but it might. And that puts additional work on all the faculty and staff as we try to explain where we're at. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mrs. Wilson.
So, I'm sure a lot of you have been receiving the mailers from my challenger, very negative mailers. Another issue that has we've been hearing about quite a bit has to do with the Palm Springs campus. It's been really difficult because our records, as we go back and look at things, look totally different than what apparently Palm Springs has received. I mean, we all 5 trustees went on record, on public record at a board meeting, saying that we had never seen schematic drawings showing a 300-room hotel, bungalows, an event center on a campus. Now, where have you ever heard of a community college with a 300-room hotel? The closest one is in Iowa with 100 rooms. And if you're in Iowa, I guess I would have a 100-room hotel. But, you know, I don't understand. So I suppose if I were looking at that and I was a Palm Springs official and then I find out I'm not going to get that, I'd be pretty pissed. Because again, apparently some promises were made that the board was not aware of. We have records of what we did take action on, a 50,000 square foot campus that we did a resolution on in 2016, but nothing like the size of what we're looking here. And we just need to stay above the fray and just tell the facts, and that's what we will continue to do. At least that's what I will continue to do. I will continue to tell you the truth because that's all I can do. That's what I'm used to doing. I don't lie, folks.
Thank you. Mr. Perez?
Thank you, and thank you for the question. I'm glad that the word transparency was brought up because when I first got onto the board 4 years ago, we didn't even have a board attorney that was sitting with us in closed session. That had to be requested by my colleague, Trustee Yount, because that wasn't the practice at the time. But I'm happy that we have an administrator now who realizes the importance of transparency, and we do have a board attorney that's sitting with us at every one of our meetings. And I just want to add that all the issues, division, backlash, negative media attention that we have received since Dr. Garcia got here is attributed to this other man that's sitting up here with us. He overstepped his boundaries as a retired administrator and cast a dark cloud over an institution with lies and fear-mongering. He lied about the superintendent hiring process. There was nothing illegal or unethical done. We hired a headhunter who assisted. He lied to the public about how bonds work and who would get what. He lied to the public about how far along the PS project was and who would be on the decision-making table. He lied saying the feasibility study had been done. It hadn't. It was an environmental impact report. He lied about the faculty involvement in the process. He accused myself and others with roots in the Eastern Coachella Valley of funneling money. He's even got a racist campaign mailer where he says Trustee Wilson has aligned herself with East Valley politicians. What does that even mean? Not only that, but his campaign has had a negative tone since the beginning and even has my opponent going negative in her first election. I can keep going, but I won't. But that's where all the lies and misinformation comes from. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I do a follow-up?
Yes.
I understand your position, but the question was, what are you going to do to turn the negative around?
Sure. So I've been cleaning up this mess since I became chair. I assumed the position in December, and right away we took 2x2 meetings with the city of Palm Springs, and we had them every month. I've gone to their city council chambers and did a presentation. We've had various presentations regarding the Palm Springs project in the media, and it's just unfortunately hasn't been picked up, and it's been drowned out by louder voices. So we've done our part. I've gone to Roadrunner Motors as well, the Cathedral City meeting. We've been working it.
Thank you.
Okay, I can't remember who I'm starting. Dr. Kinnaman?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Kinnaman. COD is in the business of education. Can you please define what is the product, who is the consumer, and how the products get delivered?
Certainly. Thank you very much for the question. You know, the product is a vast wealth of knowledge, and it also ranges from the liberal arts to the vocational fields. The knowledge and skills that are acquired are delivered to you and I, our parents, our grandparents, our children, our grandchildren, and our community. The delivery modes are all varied. Some is face-to-face, some are other modalities. There was a period of time when it was all other modalities, and hybrids and in between. And so those are the different types of ways we deliver the product. And again, I want to stress that with the community college and its mission, it's critical that we have a vast array of programs, both vocational and liberal arts, because our students come to us for different goals. Some are going to transfer. Some may want a certificate because they're going to become a welder, or they may have an associate's degrees. And so providing those different types of educational opportunities are important. And having done this for 30 years, I know that at the community college level, we're the quickest at adapting to what our students need in our curriculum and how we deliver than any other institutions in education. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
Well, to me, the product is student success. The ones that have graduated and have the job training and the degrees and have gone through the programs, and then how they bring those impacts into the valley, and how they impact the economy. It's not only that they succeed and that they get their job training, they get their degree, but they need to stay here. We need to grow our people. We need to grow our population and have them stay here, and so that's how we can do that. And also in order to get there, we need to have the right folks to teach them, to train them, to make sure that, you know, they get the kind of education and training that they need. And that's where you all come in. And we need to make sure that you have the tools that you need in order to help the students and the local economy succeed. Because once our students succeed, you all succeed, the valley succeeds, our businesses succeed. And that's what I think we need to do, is that we just need to make sure that we have the proper tools in place, and that includes the faculty, that includes the adjuncts, that includes you all, to make sure that our students have the proper tools that they need to move forward and and continue to impact and grow our economy here in the Coachella Valley.
Thank you. Mr. Perez.
Sure. Thank you for the question. I think, Trustee Wilson, I think that was a great response, because I was going to say something similar. I think our product is student success, and being whatever the college needs us to be for whatever pathway the student wants to go in, whether it be liberal arts or vocation or aeronautics or what have you. Who the consumer is our prospective students and the members of our community who have aspirations of dreaming bigger. And I think that's what we serve in the community, as a place where people can come and with their dreams and make them a reality. And that is how the product gets delivered, I think, through our faculty, and making sure that, you know, our students are taken care of, have their wraparound services, and everything they need to make their college career successful.
Thank you. Ms. Chavez.
For me, the product is education. Students are the consumers, and the product is delivered by amazing faculty that make these programs thrive and create the next workforce. They also change the students' life to be able to provide for their families and also for future generations. Whether it's through in-person classes or online learning, the faculty are usually the ones providing all the learning, because COD trains tomorrow's workforce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to question number 5, and I'm going to start with Ms. Wilson. Can you describe why and when you think it is necessary for the district to spend money on outside consultants?
Thank you. When I worked at CVAG, Coachella Valley Association of Governments, which is located here in Palm Desert, it's a council of governments, we would sometimes use consultants when we were working on projects that impacted the entire Coachella Valley. So that's when you need, I think, when you need to pull in a consultant, someone that doesn't have a different agenda, but someone who has the expertise in the field that is able to provide you with the information that you need to make an informed decision. And they also come with the tools to help you make that decision. So I think it's important to have an outside consultant, depending upon the project, and again, to have that kind of separate eye that isn't bought into one way or another, but can give you the facts and the information, and has that expertise behind them to be able to give you the tools that you need to make an informed decision.
Thank you.
Can I do a follow-up?
Sure.
Can I ask, and the rest of you too, when you answer the question, can you give us an example as well? Just so, because I'm dumb.
Well, I'm trying to think for example, I guess if you're thinking of College of the Desert, we recently had a presentation at our September meeting, which helped the trustees to clarify the issues with regard to the Palm Springs campus. And so that means you have someone that comes in who has the expertise to do that, the education to do that, and is able to pull together all the information and be able to look through and gather the facts in order to present you that information so that you then, as the elected trustee, can make an informed decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perez?
Sure. So as it relates to consulted, as it relates to outsourcing jobs, that's something that I don't think any district should be doing. However, in agreement with my colleague, Trustee Wilson, whenever we're, every government agency uses consultants all across the board. So whenever we're creating, a big project per se, we can't hire an architectural firm that's just not in our means to do so. We'll hire an architectural consultant in order to deliver the product and to get the expertise that we need in order to construct the building. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Chavez-Chaitis?
Outside consultants are necessary for certain areas of expertise, such as enrollment management, bond spending, facility construction. Those areas of services that are outside of normal operations of the college, and a good example would be all of the different campuses that have been built throughout the Coachella Valley.
Thank you. And Dr. Kinnaman?
Okay. You want just one or multiple?
It's up to you in 2 minutes.
All right. I'll give you a real life example. On December 18, 2020, WRNS Studio was hired. They unanimously approved, the board, a contract for over $4 million. And the scope of work, when you look at the contract, says, included an accelerator, culinary institute, CUP, event center, hotel, and hotel villas. That was in December 18, 2020. You can look at the minutes. Any other documents that were mentioned earlier, trust me, I have them, and I have the timelines and when each trustee has voted on them in the past, and there are others that have those. And it's not a 300-room hotel that they were talking about. It was 66 rooms. So that is one example. Another example that I would give is if you look at, I mentioned you want to hire an independent forensics audit to come in and really tell you the truth, rather than hire a consultant to tell the public what you want them to hear. Those are two different things. So it's important when we hire consultants that they're independent of the governing body, so that you get the facts and that we report those facts. In addition, there's situations where we may need somebody to do environmental impact reports and those things that aren't typical. But in an educational institution, we have a collective database of knowledge of bright people that can do most of the work that we need to get done. And that's part of why AB 1725 was so important to us as far as the consultation process. We have to embrace that and bring what we know to the table through our planning processes and know that it's good work. Because collectively, the college community understands our students better than hiring a consultant to come in from the outside that doesn't have the history nor the decades of records. I've got records going back to 2007 now. No consultant is going to be able to do that.
Thank you.
May 6th. Who am I starting with? Mr. Perez, sorry. What specifically will you do to educate the community about the delays in constructing the Palm Springs campus, and will you commit to us that the Palm Springs campus will offer a wide variety of general education courses and university transfer curriculum that is not merely a hospitality and culinary arts specialty campus?
Yes, thank you for the question, and I'm happy that you brought it forward and that the faculty is thinking about this, because I think that these are very important issues and questions. We just had a really thorough presentation last board meeting regarding the history and timeline of the Palm Springs project. I have gone out of my way to work with the city of Palm Springs by having 2x2 meetings with them every other month with Mayor Holstage and Councilmember Kors, along with their city manager and Dr. Garcia. We've gone to their digs, we've gone to their city council chambers and tried to present them the facts that unfortunately they do not want to accept. But the fact of the matter is that a feasibility report was never conducted for this a campus of this magnitude when it should have been. You know, the report that we received at the last meeting had data that was taken from the Southern California Association of Governments, SCAG. That is the advisory, you know, for government agencies in Southern California. So they do these types of studies. They work with this type of data, and it's trustworthy data. Other government agencies are using them to gather data, and it's unfortunate that it took us so long for us to do that, and for us to even involve our faculty. Our faculty was never even involved in this planning process for this project. So we know that from the feasibility study, it'll be difficult in order for us to get the 3,000 full-time equivalent students that this campus was originally for. The feasibility study said that we'll be lucky to get 300. So therefore, we do got to have, you know, different opportunities for our students at that campus. We need to offer general education courses, university transfer level courses. We need to have different programming and get really creative if we want to not be financially upside down 5 years from now.
Can I remind all of you before you keep going? I'm an accountant, counting, right? Okay. Counting, you know, like that's not just general ed we were talking about. We were talking about business and you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, I would be definitely willing to work with the city of Palm Springs and, you know, listen and share different points of view. Those programs are important. The accelerator space will also provide a general education, will provide space for a general education, and because the design could be flexible for a variety of classes, just like the Indio campus is. So, yeah.
Dr. Kinnaman?
All right, that campus was supposed to be a bold, innovative, futuristic, international model for a community college delivery of education, not an antiquated facility with boring programs leading to no place. So, having said that, the accelerator space was going to have the scenic and the bandwidth. It was in collaboration with business partners that were willing to bring money to the table. There's a business plan where there was over $2 million that was going to be net profit. Those things don't get talked about. Instead, consultants get brought in to tell you something else. You know, I will have a forensics auditor in here, and I would ask these types of questions. What happened in April of 2021, the month after I retired? I got some minutes here. Says, briefed them on focus on Coachella. Perez and Wilson's on board. Go over to the next page. McGinnis understands and hears clearly that the board, they were concerned about the direction of a lot of money going to Palm Springs projects. These are part of those public records that probably are being held. Baker briefed the team about meeting with the mayor of Coachella, shared Coachella will be a huge growth area. Supervisor Perez wants to meet with Baker next. The strongest thing Baker can do to support the project to drive Coachella, it's important, will be his focus the next 5 months. Perez is involved. Baker placed him in front. Baker shared all this should be confidential. Now these minutes, they were minutes from a meeting April 7th, 2021. I'm only stating what they say, but a special investigator needs to go and see if there's truth in this, because that was 1 month after I left as president.
I need to do a follow-up because the question was, will you commit to us that the Palm Springs campus will offer a wide, maybe I didn't hear it right, wide variety of general education courses and university curriculum, which is why I brought up I'm an accountant because business, you know, economics, business management, that's what, and I didn't, I
I'm
apologize.
sorry, in the accelerator space, it had the fluidity of being able to modify inside the facility because it was more of an open type of environment. And in fact, Trustee Wilson and I visited Austin Community College in their accelerator space, and in there, all courses were taught.
Okay.
There wasn't a limitation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Wilson?
For once, we agree on one thing. When we talk about educating the community about the delays in the Palm Springs campus, you know, I really don't blame the city of Palm Springs for being so upset. You know, we really need to think back as to where this all started. And where this all started was, you know, since 2004. And, you know, if we move the needle a little bit more, 2007 to 2013, the Tramview property, 119 acres, facility that we were supposed to be sharing with Southern California Edison. From 2007 to 2013, that project just sat there. Nothing happened until finally that project ended up falling through. And then shortly after that, we were able to take a look, thanks to Mayor Punier, the Palm Springs Mall. And so now we are there, and we are pushing through with that project. But yes, we will be committing that the Palm Springs campus will offer a variety of general education courses. We want to see that happen. They need to have choice and opportunity so that they can have the kinds of training and education that they should have, and to meet the needs of our students. And, you know, and I also have to say that we do have some great hospitality management program here at COD. And our culinary arts program is also an incredible program. I was reading a little bit about all the work that Chef Kurt has been able to do. So, you know, we do have some great things, and we want to showcase, we want to offer our students those, but we also want to make sure that they have an opportunity for all sorts of education and training. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we start question number 7, I will ask that the audience remain quiet. Thank you. So I'm going to start with Ms. Chavez-Chaides. The public perception is that there has been a significant lack of transparency between the trustees, the current COD president, and the general public. What will you do to ensure that there is both actual and perceived transparency in regards to the dealings of the upper administration and leadership at the college?
So something that I would work on is being more transparent with the community and as a whole, being honest about what's really going on, communicating that with the whole community, and maybe having more discussion in the actual board meetings, you know. Another thing is I would work on fulfilling all my promises that I'm making, and keeping my constituents, the community, informed about this. You know, there's a lot of problems also in the East Valley, especially with classes. The Mecothermo campus is only offering 2 classes this semester, which is very concerning with the amount of classrooms that are there. And then also for the Coachella Library, where they're only being offered classes at night, when we also have to make those resources available during the daytime and also on the weekends. So I think it's just communicating and being honest with the community as a whole.
Thank you. Dr. Kinnaman?
So it's real important that I'm going to go back to real transparency, whether it feels good or doesn't feel good, and making sure that you put the documents out on the table. I've got the timeline, like I said, this one goes back to 2007, and it talks about the blue ribbon committees and how sites were selected and how there were going to be 3 sites, one in the east, one in the west, and the Palm Desert site. And along the way, what decisions were made. A trustee that is really a trustee needs to educate themselves about the facts and not just sit here and give you a bunch of rhetoric or what they've heard on the grapevine. They need to be ready to go to depositions if necessary and prove what they're saying. That's what the public expects out of us. We take an oath of office. We are public servants. We are not politicians. I'm sorry. We are public servants. We serve you. And that's how we have to behave when we're dealing with the public, and provide them the information and not try to rewrite history, because you can't. I mean, maybe 100 years ago, before there was Google and YouTube and everything else, but you cannot rewrite history, and once you lose your credibility, it's tough to get back. So I'll say, again, forensics auditor, put the truth out on the table, start new with people, and the college is a gym. It always has been, and the people will be there for us if we treat them with respect.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
You know, I'm not sure about this statement. You know, I feel like the college has done as much as it can to be transparent to the public, and between the team as the trustees. I believe that we've done everything that we can do to put all the information out there, if it's positive or negative. And we continue to meet with the public. Our board chair has been to Cathedral City. He's been to Palm Springs several times, talking and talking with the public and the city councils there. I think whatever we need to do, we're happy to do that, because we understand how important it is to be transparent. And I'll even offer this. I'm happy to meet with you all, faculty. If you want to meet once a semester, I'm in. Have me here. I'm happy to sit down and listen to you and talk to you. So, again, you know, that I believe that we're being as transparent as we can be as a board. If you don't think that we're not, you know, I'm not sure what more we can do. We provide our information, you know, on our website. We talk at the meetings. We don't talk to each other a lot because we're elected officials, you know. So, but we study, we listen, and we try and make the best informed decision that we can.
Thank you. Mr. Perez?
Yes, thank you for the question, and I kind of share a similar sentiment as Trustee Wilson, where I think that we've gone above and beyond to try to put out our truth and our information as to why it is that we made the decisions that we did, or where it is that we're getting our data from, or where it is that we're getting our numbers from. As I alluded to at the very beginning, all the issues, division, backlash, negative media attention is contributed to Joel Kinnaman. He casted a very dark cloud over the College of the Desert, and we have been fighting to try to get that dark cloud off of us, and, you know, have sunny skies again, because he really, really manipulated the media and manipulated a lot of people on campus into thinking that behind closed doors there's backroom deals, when that's not the case at all. As Trustee Wilson alluded to, I have gone to Palm Springs many times. I've gone to Cathedral City many times, and if we're being frank, public perception is pretty, you know, subjective. And once you pass Monterey, public perception completely changes from College of the Desert. Monterey West, that's a completely different story, but they live in their own bubble. But the rest of the Coachella Valley really, really appreciates what the trustees are doing and the direction that the board is going to. And you can ask anybody that's an elected official in my district that's on the school board, and they would agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Chavez? Oh, Dr. Kinnaman, sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Dr. Kinnaman. Can you describe, so the budget at the College of the Desert, one of the Board of Trustees actions is to oversee the budget for the college. And though we're not at 110 million, we're approaching 110, we're projecting it in the future of a $110 million budget. So I'd like you and each of you to describe your experience, your worldly experience, what you bring to be able to oversee that budget.
Thank you very much for the question. And I'll say I started on the fiscal side of the house way back about 25 years ago. So, and I was the director of budget. And over the years, when I was in Northern California, we had several $100 million in the budget. And then, of course, here at College of the Desert, I think we ended up doubling the budget while I was here because of the growth. And it's very strategic in its approach. And we do have to take a lot of factors into consideration, not just the fiscal side, but the enrollment management side too. And there's those pieces of the equation where when we're making decisions about getting capture rates for students, attrition, where it's okay to have a program that may not be, it may cost us money, but it's an investment because the community needs those students when they come out, that there may be other programs that we generate revenues from. And so I'm very inept to that and spent 30 years dealing with that, and at least 22 years of it in a $100 million plus budget. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Ms. Wilson?
Well, I think, okay, I am not a numbers person, honestly. I've been a government person and working in the community, so I need help, and I'm not afraid to ask for it. And so when we have presentations with regard to our budgets, even before the board meetings take place, I'm asking questions of President Garcia, you know, to explain what this means. How does this impact this particular budget? What are these funds from? And et cetera, et cetera. So I ask the questions so it'll help me better understand what I'm voting on. And when it comes to money, you better believe I'm going to be asking the questions I need to ask so that I know what I'm spending your dollars on. So, you know, we have auditors that will come in and will sit down with us publicly at the public meetings and explain what's going on with our budgets, what money is coming down from the government, what extra dollars we've been able to get as a result of the pandemic, and how those monies are going to be used. We work with our foundation, that's some very important component, and how they use their funds as well, and asking those questions. So that's how I manage the budgets here, is that being able to ask the questions, being able to get those questions answered, and if I don't like the answers or don't understand the answers, ask them again until I do understand and I'm able to understand enough to vote, to be able to vote and take action on that item.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Perez?
Yes, thank you. Well, experience, I would say that I have the last 4 years as a trustee managing the budget as my experience, and I also have a degree from one of the most prestigious universities in the world, the University of California, Davis, where I graduated with a degree in political science, and I also took some finance courses. You know, I think this is where the fiduciary responsibility of a trustee comes into play, and this is where we as trustees have to battle with the decisions of, do we build a $345 million just because it was promised, or do we as trustees act responsibly and work with our staff and faculty who are the experts in this industry to come up with a way and a campus that's going to be fiscally responsible and financially prudent for the district, and it's not going to have the district bankrupt 5 years from now. So I appreciate the question. I'm still learning, right? I only have a few years of experience, but it's been a great experience so far, and we have you know, a great executive cabinet that is there to help us out the rest of the way.
Thank you. Ms. Chavez Chaidez.
Hello. I doubt anyone besides former President Joel Kinnaman has experience prior to becoming a trustee for the first time on a $110 million budget. But having served as student trustee, I'm aware of the budget complexities and would do my best to learn to all parties, research the budget item, and do my best to vote in a manner that best serves our students and constituents. I am also willing to ask questions and inform myself more and learn as the process goes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to question number 9, and I'm going to start with Ms. Wilson. What is your position on collective bargaining for school employees?
I am in favor of that. I am endorsed by the Inland Empire Labor Council, and I am also endorsed by the Carpenters Union. So I am very much in favor of collective bargaining. I think it's an important tool, and it's a critical tool, and it's important to hear from all sides and do what's best to keep our employees here, and also what's best for the college and the communities as a whole.
Thank you. Mr. Perez?
It's necessary, plain and simple. I am as well endorsed by a few different labor unions in Southern California. I'm endorsed by the Southwest Carpenters, and I'm also endorsed by the Faculty Association of California Community Colleges. But yeah, bottom line is it's necessary.
Thank you. Ms. Chavez-Titus?
I also think it's very necessary. I think that plays a big role with the administration, and that's why we should also provide livable wages for our faculty and staff. When the college is abundant, then we must share the wealth with the workers and make the magic happen. I think we're seeing a large majority of talent leaving the valley, and I would like that talent to stay here. So having a collective bargaining would definitely be a great success here for the college.
Thank you. And Dr. Kinnaman?
Every employee deserves the right to bargain and the right to strike, and it provides fairness, it provides consistency among our employees, and in addition, I would go a little bit farther as a former Teamster. The situation we're facing right now, management may be needing to have that opportunity to form as well. That ends my comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the final question, starting with Ms. Wilson, right?
No, Mr. Perez.
Oh, sorry, Miss. I haven't gotten this right yet. Mr. Perez, in 2 minutes, could each of you please describe something that you really love about College of the Desert?
Sure. And thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight and for participating in tonight's forum. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the opportunity to, CODFA and CODAA for allowing me to come in and, try to earn your endorsement. What I love about College of the Desert, I love that College of the Desert serves as a beacon of hope in our community. I love that it's a place where students can dream big, and actually come here and make that a reality. Education is very dear to my heart. My grandparents are immigrant farm workers who came to this country with nothing. And they earned everything through hard work, but they also instilled the values of education into my parents and my tias and my tios. So, I ran for this seat initially because I heard in the community that College of the Desert's presence in the Eastern Coachella Valley, it didn't have a good one. It didn't have a good relationship with our students out there, and I wanted to change that because education has offered me a lot of access to opportunity, and I want to ensure that other students in my community are fortunate enough to have that same access to opportunity that I was fortunate to have myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chavez Chaidez?
Hello, what can I say about College of the Desert as a COD alumni, right? First, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. As I mentioned earlier, I was a full-time student here at College of the Desert. I was part of the student government. I was very involved throughout the whole campus. So, and also I was very happy to see a lot of my professors when I walked into this building. So, I love many things about the college. I love the community that it had, the different events that they always throw, you know, always trying to keep the community connected. I remember always coming to my classes, and there was always a professor willing to help me. I could always access the resources I needed as a student. If I needed tutoring, there was this, the resource was there for me. There's a lot. COD was my home for a few years. So I definitely know the impact that it had in my life. My parents, like I mentioned before, they were also immigrants to the United States. So they very much value education. I'm a first-generation college student, so I know the difference that it's going to make in my life and also the future generations to come for me. Not just myself, I attended. My boyfriend, he also graduated from College of the Desert. That's actually how we met. We met here when we were both involved in student government. And the college has provided so much for us. We always had the resources. We always knew where to get an answer. Student life definitely took a great part of this. So yeah, I still have a lot of friends here on campus. I have family attending College of the Desert, and I always tell my family that College of the Desert is a home, and it is definitely a great place to come.
Thank you. Dr. Kinnaman?
Like I said, once a Roadrunner, always a Roadrunner, and I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't love COD. It was the highlight of my career. And, you know, it's unfortunate that when you put sunlight on a situation that I'm learning now as I run that people like to play the blame game or just shed it off. But we can turn this all around. The students that we serve, I remember the magic that we created at this institution for them, and how exhilarating it was of an environment and a place where everybody was wanting to go to. We were a beacon in the community. It was through your efforts that we transformed lives. We had the highest success rates. We were in the top 10 in the metrics that are used in the state of California for community colleges. The open collaboration and the many relationships I developed while I was here, they shaped me, informed me, and made me a better man. But most of all, if I'm really honest with you, what I love about COD is commencement. So that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson?
What I really love about College of the Desert is there's so many different things. For one is the history, and I think many of you have taught here for several years and may recall my late husband Roy Wilson, who actually was asked to move here so that he could teach at this college, and he did that for almost 30 years. And I think the other thing that is the diversity of students that we have here. The classes that we offer, unique programs where we help students with their tuition, like Edge and Pledge. I mean, how many colleges that you see offer programs like that, award-winning programs where we help our students. And then just, you know, for myself, just the opportunity to rise from a community college graduate to become a trustee, an elected official. I mean, it's there. It can happen to any of our students. And of course, there's you folks that are out there. You're the ones that teach, that work with the students, that make COD what it is. And, you know, at the end of the semester, you get to look at all your work that you've done and smile.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you very much to everybody that attended and everybody out there in the virtual world. And I'd like you all to join me in giving a round of applause to the candidates. To our moderators. And to our awesome IT team. And I want to invite everybody who's present to, we have some water